In an odd take on the question, what do you get a man that has everything, Booster Gold has a gift for Batman, and it's not what you think. What's up, everybody? I'm Stan, and welcome to Detail Comics, where we go over comics in detail. This is an I Review, the show where I go over a comic book, its story, its art, give you my impressions and let you know whether it's something you should go back to the comic book shop for or not. Make sure you subscribe to get more of these every single week. The book that I want to talk about right now is Batman number 45, and oh my fucking god, this opens up with such a ridiculously insane opening that I can't help but wonder what the rest of the story is going to be like. There's a lot to dive into here, and there's a lot of stuff that's going on, so let's jump in and see what we've got. In something that's become pretty standard for Batman solicits, we've actually been misled regarding the name of this story arc. So instead of The Travelers, which is supposed to be a story about Batman, Catwoman, and their travels with Booster Gold, this is instead called The Gift. So this is dealing with the wedding of Batman and Catwoman, and the opening for this book is absolutely crazy. You open up with Hal Jordan, and he starts talking to himself, or talking to the person in front of him, and it's a really disturbing kind of perspective, because you see this small smirk overtake Hal Jordan, and then slowly his smile becomes wider and wider, and inside his speech bubbles, he says, you know, you can do anything with willpower. Absolutely, of course you can do anything, and nobody's got more willpower than me. You know, this ring, it won't let you hurt yourself, but I've got enough will, I've got enough willpower, I think I can break that. Do you dare me? Or is that something you dare me? Of course you dare me. And he takes the ring, puts it up to the side of his head, and then in the next page on the reflection of Booster Gold's goggles, you see him shoot himself with Green Lantern energy through the head, committing suicide in front of the man as his lifeless body falls away in front of Booster Gold. You know, that was seriously intense. Admittedly a little awesome, but intense. And he flies away. So Tony Daniel captures this absolutely insane moment, and with the slow progression of Hal Jordan slowly being overtaken by whatever's happening to him, and the burning of Gotham in the background, this is extremely clear from the beginning that this is not the world that we knew. And as Booster Gold makes his way through, we actually get Tom King and Tony Daniel telling us the story of everything else. At Wayne Engineering, we've got Tim Drake, who's sitting there in a cubicle working instead of becoming the new Red Robin or becoming a Robin for Batman. Batman is not necessarily a figure in the city nearly as prominent, and we hear that Al Ghul, Ra's al Ghul, is running Eurasia, and President Cobblepot. There's all these different subtle hints to the big changes that have happened. Gotham is still on fire. The bat signal is no longer functional, and Booster Gold takes some energy, blasts it in front of Skeets to create a bat symbol, and then all of a sudden, bang, he's shot. And who has shot him? Batman. So it's not the Batman that you're looking for. He doesn't have the advanced armaments. He's just got some cobbled together armor that he's made into a Batman fashion, holding grenades and grenade launcher shells, and he's wearing what looks to be some sort of metallic hockey pads. This is a cobbled together Batman. This is not the person that we knew. And what we find is that Batman is not who we think he is. He is not afraid of using lethal force, and he just goes right to Booster Gold, and as he starts talking, Batman just reacts, bouncing bullets off of Booster Gold's face, throwing a grenade at him, and forcing him off the rooftop. We take a break from this action between Batman and Booster Gold to see Jason Todd. Jason Todd's running a tire shop, and what he did was he created a tire taser which kills people that try to steal tires. The joke that he has been so tied to over the history of Batman, he's turned it on its ear and is now killing these jokers, which are essentially a symbolism for anybody that has been taken over by this Joker virus or has become Jokerized. That seems to be the case. That's probably what happened to Hal Jordan. He was on the verge of becoming Jokerized or had just become that, and it was overtaking him, the madness, and now we've got this entirely different environment. And as Booster talks to Skeets, we get this kind of like back and forth between them where we see that Booster is an extremely immature person telling jokes about Batman cutting the cheese on his wedding night with Catwoman, as a noose slowly slips its way down, grabs Booster Gold by the neck as Skeets is doing some reconnaissance, trying to figure out where Batman is, ultimately finding that Batman is directly above them, which is a funny perspective joke. It's really interesting to see where this is, and we find this, I mean, the visuals of Batman on top of this burnt out husk of a gargoyle, almost like a bird or an eagle that is leaning out over the city as Booster sits there strung by his neck, Skeets saying, hey, this is actually Batman. This is not Bruce Wayne though, It's Dick Grayson. So Dick Grayson has become this violent, gun-slinging Batman that is taking on these tasks. He needs to find Bruce Wayne. And while we get more witty banter between Booster Gold and Skeets, we actually go to another person that's part of the Bat family, Duke Thomas. And Duke Thomas is there. It looks like he has some sort of scar, some sort of lobotomy, some sort of brain surgery has happened to him as he's being spoon-fed his morning cereal. And this is just such a disarming and odd sensation when it comes to what we're seeing, how this has all impacted everything. And then we get to Bruce, and Bruce is standing there dancing with his mother at their anniversary. And, just as charming and schmoozy as he could have ever been if he'd lived a life of luxury with his parents. However, there are some things that must have happened inside this history that we're going to find out in later issues, because Bruce Wayne, if his parents are the kind of people that we have been led to believe, he wouldn't have necessarily ended up in this exact same way. But Booster Gold comes busting through the window with Skeets in tow, saying, "Hey, I got a present for you." Immediately jump away from that, and we actually have Talia Al Ghul fighting Ra's al Ghul, talking about their dominance over Eurasia and how there is no man that is enough for Talia Al Ghul. There is no man that she would settle down with. As soon as their Joker is done, she will rule over far more than just Eurasia. There is no heir. She is the one to take the throne, and she will be the last of their line. This leads us into a very familiar Tom King setting, which is a 9-panel grid where Booster Gold is relaying the entirety of the story. This is an information download for not only Bruce, but also for the reader. So it's the perspective of Bruce is we are the person that's viewing this explanation from Booster Gold, talking about this story that Batman and Superman used to tell about this orchid that used to trap him in his mind, and realizing that the scenario wasn't super great, so he went back and he got a present for Bruce Wayne, which is, I'm going to save your parents. And because he saved his parents, everything is terrible. Without Batman, everything's on fire, people are killing people. Well, Skeets and we've got a time machine, so we're going to go not kill your parents. And as he finishes up the explanation, Bruce has this realization, or at least it appears that he does. He always felt that there was something missing, and that his parents were gone, that he saw himself later falling like pearls. He was dressed like a bat. All these after images of this history, these dreams. He has always known that this is not the person that he's meant to be. And Booster just feeds into that. It's like, yeah, this is a broken world. Thank you. Thank you for coming to me, and thank you for letting me know. And he grabs the poker from the fire and smashes Skeets into pieces, leaving him broken on the ground. Booster Gold screaming at him, "With the time machine, the Skeets!" And Bruce just calmly looks at him, straightens his tie, says that he's going to send his man Alfred, and that he'll show Booster Gold the way out. He's going back to the party, it's his parents' anniversary, and he wouldn't miss it for the world. Which gives you a really stark idea of what the perspective of this Bruce Wayne inside this history is. And I would love to say that this is the end of the issue, which it is, but this is not the end of this story. This story is going to lead us into a lot more that's coming on, and I am so enamored with some of Tony Daniel's art. It's just fantastic. And this storyline, this concept, the alarming and arresting nature of the introduction to the story with Hal Jordan is what caught me off guard. It made me gasp audibly. And I haven't done that in a Tom King book for Batman in quite some time, so I am really excited about where this one is going. The sense of drama, the whole situation, the flipping of what do you get a man who has everything is a really interesting idea, and I can't wait to see where it goes. But I want to know what you guys think, so hit me up in the comments down below so that way we can have a conversation. As always, if you like what you see, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to get more news, reviews, and commentary on comic books, comic book movies, comic book TV shows and games, and anything and everything inside the world of comics.